I love playing the guitar.
Yeah,
nice.
Do you create your some of your smooth jazz epics on that guitar? Is that you sit at home and start with that?
I used to, but ever since I started having a problem with it, because I can't plug it in no more.
Okay.
And so and then the guitar I got now.
Well, the Paul Reed, yeah.
Yeah, but Gary surprised. He goes, Bobby, go open up there.
Well, that is all Chad Cunningham and Dina.
I
You know, they love you, and wow,
They're
that
awesome.
was a very nice gift, right? I'm just happy we could do it on the opening of the
I
Michigan
know.
Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. It was perfect timing.
I knew nothing, you know, until you told me to open it up. And I looked at it, I go,
Well,
wait a minute.
Chad wanted to walk through the front door with it. I said, you can't walk through the front door, but he's going to see it. So I had him come around through the back, so we got it through the back door so that you wouldn't see it until it was time to present it to you.
That was awesome.
That's one of the most beautiful Paul Reed Smith guitars I've ever seen.
Oh,
It is, you know.
It's a cool
And the
guy.
way Chad went about it, man, he's such a great person, you know.
He's very generous.
He is, you know. And the way he fooled me, you know, because you know, I was telling about these pickups, the Paul Reed Street pickups, you know. And I was gonna get them for. I had bought this really beautiful blue guitar. It looked like Strat, and I was gonna put those pickups in to get that Paul Reed Smith sound. And he goes, "Can you show me those pickups?" And so we went inside his house and we were looking at Musician's Friend, or I can't remember which one. And he finds a Paul Reed Smith, you know, and we're looking at all those guitars, and I'm looking, I go, wow, you know, and he goes, "Is it like that one?" And I go, "Yeah, that's the pickups right there. Those are the pickups. You can't buy them. I got to order them through Reverb, you know, where they'll sell them. Individual might sell them, you know.
Yeah, out of their guitar. Right?
Yeah, and he goes, so those are the pickups, right? He goes, is that the guitar too? Do you like the guitar? You know, I was like, where's he going with that? I go, yeah. Like, he goes, what about the color? You like the color? I go, yeah, it's color. It looks nice, you know. I wasn't even thinking where he was going with it. I could think about, I want to get those pickups. You know, and I wanted to get that Santana sound.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden we were at the, you were doing an opening for the museum, right?
Right, we did something on Frankie
For
Lyman's
the
tombstone.
wall, yeah.
Right, and you know, that was part of the opening of the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame exhibit. Yeah, it was very cool. We had a lot of people there.
Well, a lot of people, because I tell you what,
Exactly.
I didn't know, because lots of times I'm playing out, right? And they come up to me, somebody come, oh, I was there when they were giving you guitar, you know. I said, oh, thank you. I mean, I said, that was such a, I was trying to hold back from crying, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Very emotional, no?
It was the highlight of the whole
It was.
presentation.
And I looked right at Chad, you know, and I smiled and I said, thank you. You
Yeah.
know?
And you know, the fact that you are, you know, a member of the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends
Yeah.
Hall of Fame, it was just perfect. You know?
It was. It was just so amazing, you know. And like I said, you know, his dad was very inspiring to me, you know. And when I saw his dad play, they were playing Louie Louie.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and they were playing, and I swear, I thought it was the Kingsmen.
That, you know, that opening is just instantly, you know, you associate it with Louie Louie. Just like the opening 96 years,
Yeah.
it's just like bingo. You know, the first few notes, satisfaction, the same thing.
Exactly.
You just know immediately.
You know what
just
it is,
classic,
yeah. I remember, was it you had asked me who came up with that riff at the beginning of 96 years?
Yeah.
You know, Frankie came up
Yeah.
with it because he's a piano player. But that was so cool how I don't even know whose idea it was, to be honest with you.
You know, and it brought in the conjunto Mexican element
Yeah.
to 96 Tears too.
Yep,
You know, kind of just like Willie Bully did. You
Yep.
know, it brought that Tex-Mex
exactly.
thing in there, which was really neat too.
Yeah, and I never thought, you know, the song would make it, to be honest with you.
You know, it's wild too, and to even tag on what Gary's talking about, you're talking about how Eddie Serrato was already involved in that Tex-Mex sound. He had a label, guys. He had a studio.
That's where they.
Then he jumps right in, and all of a sudden, that's the first thing you do.
And Eddie Serrato, the way he played, he didn't play like a rock drummer. he played like a Tejano,
Yeah.
a polka drummer. So that's where a lot of the influence came in, and then a lot of my playing, the sound of the guitar. It had that real staccato sound, even though it was just going back and forth.
You kept with the bass and you kept your rhythm pumping underneath it
Yep.
next to the bass lines.
Yep.
While Frankie Dust at the top and Q who's singing. It's a fantastic blend. And the more you listen to it, the more you understand all the different styles. I mean, it's
Exactly.
amazing because I had no clue because now Robert has played with you guys a lot since the '90s. He can rock. He's a rock drummer.
Oh yeah.
And it's a lot different than Eddie Serrato's style.
Right.
Well, and the other thing, back when that came out in 1966, was really all about how it sounded like on AM radio.
Right.
That's how
yeah.
the music got out. And 96 Tears was like a perfect AM radio single. It just sounded terrific. I remember the first time I heard it, I was working at Bay City Milling, loading trucks. It was a tough job, but it was Teamsters. I was making really good money. And boy, after work, get in the car and pumping on the radio, WSAM, WKNX, WTAC, had all the presets, And boy, and I heard 96 Tears coming home, and it was just like, wow.
Right.
Yeah, it just was great.
Did they have a mono version and a stereo version of that?
I don't know. Hey, I couldn't tell you.
That's right during that area where they were flip flopping.
They were switching
and
over.
AM was very mono at the time.
Yeah,
I think it was still mono.
yeah, it was probably all mono.
I can remember hearing on the radio. And basically that's how we got our name, because we were only the Mysterians, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't question mark, even though it was question mark's name.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't using question mark and Mysterian. And then I remember question mark calling me up and he said that he had talked to Bob Dell, WTAC, and we're gonna be playing in Mount Holly, So I would put it on WTAC that I wanted to hear him say, hey, here the Mysterians playing. So I heard him say, and question mark and the Mysterians, And I go, what? Question mark and the Mysterians.
And just to have that on WTAC too.
Huh?
With WTAC, where he was the DJ, that signal went to Detroit,
Yeah.
which was really important to you guys.
It was.
To moving things out of the Tri-Cities, which it was gigantic here. But, you had to get to Detroit, and then it gets to, Cameo.
It was,
I think you
not,
leased it after it became big in Detroit, right? Wasn't that when the lease to Cameo happened?
that's when all these record companies, what it was, we had taken the record, question mark had taken the record, given the record to somebody, and they took it to CKLW. And CKLW was in Canada.
Right,
That's
Windsor.
in Windsor. And so they said, they weren't going to play it, And so and you're right, what happened was Bob Dell was playing it. And so we came to Bob Dell, and then he started calling us question mark Mysterian. So we went with it. I thought it was cool. And so every time we would play at Mount Holly, question mark Mysterian. And people thought it was two bands sometimes, Yeah, it was really, question mark is the singer. So, we went to Bob Dell when the record came out. And we asked Bob Dell that if we can get paid more, because he was only paying us $50 a night to play there. and what back then there was always DJs, mobile DJs, and the DJs would play for a while, then the live entertainment, and it's still the same. And so we went to Bob Dell and asked him, can you? We went right up to where the booth we had a meeting. Right? Hey Bob, our song is getting popular, and I knew he was paying some other bands more money, because I had talked to him. I'm thinking Scott Morgan, one of the band he played with. They were really popular. They were a lot more.
Was that the Rations?
The Rations.
Yeah, they had a big hit with Respect.
And they were really popular down more south than we were. So Bob Dell, he says, I'll tell you what I'll do. I won't give you more money, but I'll play your record a lot. And we said, all right. It worked. and so the people down in Detroit started hearing it. Because, like you said, it got down to the north part of Detroit. So